and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a new feature that has recently lit up inside of the Power Platform Admin Center, and that is the RPA analytics that are available for Power Automate. Let's go check it out. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why this episode is important. So having analytics in the Power Platform Admin Center is nothing new. We've had them for a couple years, but they've always focused on our API-led connectivity through API flows itself. What we're seeing now being introduced is new pivots on that existing analytics experience that's going to focus on UI flows or Microsoft's robotic process automation offering. Now, this is really important for robotic process automation centers of excellence, where they want to be able to look holistically across their organization to identify where these processes are, who is the creator of them, how frequently they run, and much, much more. Now, we do have some analytics that have been recently included in the Power Platform Center of Excellence, which is also a great place to get analytics. We have the ability to extend those as required because it is something where we as an end user can go ahead and modify. However, those are not technically out of the box. There's some work required in order to establish them. So what we can do is use these 3 new reports that are out of the box. We don't have to do anything to configure them in order to gain some insights. Now, in terms of the insights that are available to us, we're going to be able to see runs, how frequently we have these RPA processes running, the types of RPA processes. So are they based upon the initial UI flows offering? Are they based upon Selenium? Or are they based upon Power Automate Desktop? Then on top of that, we'll also get some insights in terms of what mode are they running in? Are they attended or are they unattended? And then also who's creating these? Who are our champions internally that have really jumped on top of robotic process automation? Now, one thing I will call out with this analytics, it isn't real time, so don't expect that to be instant. Generally it takes a few hours for them to refresh, but you can count on them refreshing multiple times a day. So with that said, let's go ahead, let's take a closer look. Before we dive deeper into the content, I wanted to let you know about an emerging community found at serverlessnotes.com. This is a community resource that covers best practices, tips, and latest announcements built on contributions by technology enthusiasts from around the globe. On serverlessnotes.com, you'll find content related to Power Automate, Azure Logic Apps, Azure Service Bus, Azure Functions, and much, much more. Serverlessnotes.com is brought to you by Serverless 360, a portal that is focused on operations and support for Microsoft Azure serverless resources. Now, this is a complementary tool to the Azure portal, and it helps organizations in supporting Azure serverless applications. You can find out more about Serverless 360 at serverless360.com. All right, let's go ahead and let's jump into a demo. Okay, so here I am. I'm at the Power Platform Admin Center, which is accessible at admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com. I then can go ahead and click on Analytics and then find Power Automate. So this very much looks like the same experience we've had previously. What is new is that we do have a UI Flows tab. So if we want to be able to see all of our API flows, we would go ahead and click on that tab, but in this case we're interested in RPA, so we're going to click on UI Flows. Now this is part of the runs report, and this allows us to go ahead and see by day, by week, and by month how many RPA processes that we do have running. On top of that, we do get some other signals about whether or not they were successful or if they failed, if they've been canceled, and then we can just see the total runs in yellow. We do have the ability to go ahead and to hover over each of the specific data points just to be able to get more information about it as well. Now, over on the right-hand side, we have our filter for our different types of UI automations that we are running. In this case, all of mine are related to Power Automate Desktop, but if I did have the other types, I could go ahead and filter based upon those values. In addition, we've got run mode filters as well. In this case, all of my executions are based upon attended run mode. But if I did have unattended, I would be able to filter from that perspective as well. Now, what we can also jump into is the usage tab, and so I've got that open already. And so usage is going to give me a sense of the flows that exist and then how many times they are running within my specific period of time here, which is in this case 28 days. We can't go beyond 28 days, but we do have the ability to shorten that timeline if we wish as well. Now in this case, we do have 5 different UI flows that exist. They're all of type Power Automate Desktop. Once again, we can filter that out. Same thing with attended, we can go ahead and do that as well. And then on top of that, we do have the runs associated for that specific flow itself. We also see a little bit of trending here where we can go ahead and see per day what are the number of flows that do run, the unique, distinct number of flows that run on a specific day itself. Now let's head over to the last tab, and this is going to be created. So who is creating flows in my environment? So here we can see that we've got 3 new flows that have been created. We can see the user that did create them, the date in which they were created, and naturally the names of the flows as well. And so that gives us a sense of who are our creators, and certainly this would give us the opportunity to reach out to them if they have any questions about doing more with RPA, and it's just a signal that we can go ahead and lean on. Now, I fully expect that we will see additional reports added in the near future, but for now, these are the 3 that have been released. You should be able to access them right away inside your environment. There's nothing special or unique about the environment that I have here on screen. All right, so thanks for checking out this episode. I hope you found that useful. Analytics are, of course, very important from a governance perspective. And what you saw here was the initial step, the initial path forward from what analytics will look like for RPA processes inside of the Power Platform Admin Console. Now, in addition to that, if you're not following me on Twitter, I'd encourage you to go ahead and do so. You can find me at Weare. Obviously, you're on YouTube. Appreciate the fact that you've tuned in. Likes and subscribes are always important, so feel free to go ahead and do that. Also, any comments are welcome as well. Go ahead and put that in the comments. So that concludes today's episode, but look for new episodes weekly on the channel. Thanks and take care.